Welcome to The Incompetent Griller, where I'm going to teach you, an incompetent griller, how to look like you know what you're doing when grilling in front of your family and friends. Today we'll be making poor man's Spam burnt ends on a Weber Kettle grill. To get started, adjust the bottom vent of your grill to halfway open, then get some coals started in your chimney. Now head inside so we can get our Spam ready. Burnt ends are a delicious snack at any party. However, if you're not made out of money, instead of using beef brisket or pork belly, you can make a poor man's version of burnt ends by using Spam. So whether you're watching the big game, an upcoming awards show, or the latest season of the Omaha, Nebraska District 2 Area 4 Crokinole Tour Association League of America, yeah, it's a thing, you're sure to please your guests with a pan full of Spam burnt ends. As my Hawaiian viewers already know, there are a variety of Spam flavors. While you could choose any of these, I'm going to use the store-brand version because these are poor man's burnt ends, and I don't have money for real Spam. After freeing your meat from the can, go ahead and slice it into bite-sized pieces. I'm cutting it in half lengthwise and then into fourths widthwise. With it now laying flat, I'll cut it into fourths again. If you want bigger pieces, cut the meat in thirds instead of fourths. If you have the money, buy some pre-sliced Spam. Place the cubes in a tin pan, then sprinkle on some barbecue seasoning. I'm using the Sweet Preacher blend from Fire and Smoke Society, but you can use your own favorite seasoning. Just be mindful that a sweeter seasoning works better in this recipe. I'm making a double recipe, so you'll see more meat on the screen than you will in person if you're only making one can. Be sure to toss the Spam cubes around to make sure each side is coated properly. Next, transfer your Spam to a wire rack, which we will use to keep them from falling through the grill grate. Admittedly, I don't have a wire rack because I figured I could find one at a thrift store for less money, but all I could find was this thing. I don't know what it's called, but today it's going to play the role of wire rack. Now let's step out to the grill. Place the coals to one side of the grill and add a chunk of apple wood to provide some smoky flavor to your meat. You may also consider using another wood, depending on your preferences. Keep in mind that we want the bottom vent set to halfway open as we want to give the meat time to absorb some smoky flavor. Place your wire rack on the indirect heat side of the grill, then pop the lid on for 30 minutes. Never forget that if you're looking, you're not cooking. Do you remember that scene in 2001, A Space Odyssey, when Dave is telling Hal, the computer, to take the lid off the grill, and Hal says,
"I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that."
Yeah, Hal understood how grilling works. Be like Hal. While you're waiting, check out some of the Crokinole action in the ONDTAF LOA at the Board Game Sports Network channel. The league features 8 of the best Crokinole players in the Omaha region and has some great storylines between the players. At the 30-minute mark, your Spam should be crisping up pretty well on the outside. Some people prefer to smoke these for longer, but it's really up to your personal preference, as Spam is pre-cooked, so you don't need to worry about getting it to a specific internal temperature. I did a longer smoking session on the test run of this recipe, and all it did was shrink my Spam. Still, it's up to you. These look pretty well done, so grab the pan that you seasoned your cubes in earlier, as there's still some delicious flavoring inside. Transfer the Spam to the pan, then add a few pads of butter and sprinkle on some brown sugar. To this, we'll add just enough barbecue sauce to coat our meat. I'm using Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce because it sparks joy for me.
Choose items that spark joy for you.
Now bring the tray back to the grill and place it on the indirect heat side again. We'll put the lid back on, then come back every 10 minutes to stir the mixture. We'll repeat this step every 10 minutes until the sauce becomes a little more tacky. While you're waiting for this to occur, I've noticed some newer fans of the Omaha Crokinole League have the crazy idea that the 8 players are all the same person. This is ridiculous. Look at these 2 people. The one on the right has a full beard. Completely different. Besides, how can you have the same person appear on the screen twice? We don't have that kind of technology. Admittedly, Disney was able to do this one time with a movie called The Parent Trap, but the technology never really caught on, and so the knowledge of how to do it was lost forever. So tell the conspiracy theorists to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the game. I stirred this once at the 10-minute mark, and it's now been 20 minutes. The sauce has thickened up well enough, and I could leave it on longer, but I'm hungry, so I'm going to bring the tray inside. These look, smell, feel, sound, and taste amazing. 5 out of 5 senses agree, Spam burnt ends are worth the effort. Now that we're ready to eat, I'm going to stop this video and watch some crokinole. Let me know of your own successes down in the comments after trying this method yourselves. Have a great day.